working on a mixed media project that I thought you all could do and really would enjoy. It's actually an upcycle project, so we are reusing something that we already have, which is perfect for mixed media. Can you tell what this is? You might have guessed it. It's a cereal box. So it has 3 coats of gesso already on it. Gesso is basically a primer before you do art. It helps grip the paint. If you don't have gesso, you can use white flat paint, or you can make your own gesso. Just Google it. There are plenty of recipes out there on the internet. I might even put one on here for you guys to see. We've used it in a different video before. But I thought I'd make this into a gift bag. We have a friend who has a birthday today, and I think she's turning 12, if I'm not mistaken. And she's a unique little girl. She has really short hair, which is, for me, I don't know a lot of 11-year-olds that have short hair, which I think is fantastic. She's her own unique person, and I thought that I would continue that uniqueness and make a face on the other side of the box. You can see a beautiful shaped face right there. This is my favorite shape, and I can say that because I have a stencil of it, and I share these with my students. So I would like you to practice drawing a face on some cardstock, and once you really like the face shape and the size, cut it out, and then you can use it as a stencil for future projects. So this one I even have the face laid out on here, but each time I draw this or draw a face, unless I'm going to copy it on a copier, it's not going to come out the same, even when I have a template. So like I said, I wanted to make it unique to the birthday girl. So she has this really cool short hairstyle, so I went ahead and practiced on another sheet of paper before putting it on here. So you'll want like a computer sheet of paper or an art journal to practice on. And I made this really cool hairstyle that reminds me of her, and actually her ears are little elf ears. So I didn't do all the details on here, but I laid out my face, I laid out my planning. I went ahead and widened the shoulders. Normally I'd come down and they'd sink down like this and not come out. But I think I want to put a little animal, like a little spirit animal almost on here. She does have the cute little elf ears, and again, I will be adding more detail on the actual project itself. I even made a little tiny rendering of it right here. There's a giant flower, a tree, a little basic squirrel, wings I'm not sure about yet if she'll have wings or not, but this is how I plan. I doodle, and then I'm like, okay, can I draw it out? Yes, I can draw it out. I think I like that plan. And then I put it on the final project, whether it's a canvas or a large sheet of paper, or in this case, a cereal box. And I just want you to think about planning and space planning. So if you wanted to have something bigger on this side, then you can scoot the face over. This is centered, and I don't do a lot of my faces centered, but I think I can do the little squirrel right here and not have a problem. You might want to scoot yours over, so this is why you would space plan on something smaller like this, and then kind of make another one on a sheet of paper or in your art journal to kind of figure out where things are. And I think this is perfect spacing for the squirrel. I even drew the little squirrel out right here. He's got a party hat and a little card that has their name on it, Izzy, and I think that might go on the shoulder right there. And I think it's going to be really beautiful, and a piece of art that she can keep and maybe mount on her wall if she'd like. So the first thing you need to do when you get your face down is you need to split it up so you know how to proportion the eyes and the nose and where everything goes, and you can place it in the correct spot. There's many ways to do this, but we're going to do it as simply as possible. So to know where the eyes go, you need to go about halfway down on your face. So do not count the chin in that. Imagine that this is a circle, and you're splitting that circle about halfway. That's going to be your eye line. You're also going to split the face in half this way. And then again, from this line to about right here, you're going to imagine another circle without the chin. You're going to split it in half, and that's the nose, okay? So you have the eye line, splitting the face in half, and the nose line. Now that we have our roadmap laid out, let's start with the eyes. I'm going to try to draw the eyes while holding my phone, so bear with me. So when I do the eyes, I do them different every time. I want to show you some examples. So these right here, I actually have a tear duct in here, but a lot of times I'll just leave this open. I did hers the same way. Let me see if I can find you examples where I did the eyes a little bit differently. Here's another example of an eye. This eye right here is open. The tear duct is not closed. And you can see that the shapes of the eyes are a little bit different. It's a little bit more squared at the corner. And that's because I paint perfectly imperfect girls. each side of our face is different actually. Here we have a different sort of eye as well. This one is just more of an almond shape, and to make the lids look heavier, you slightly tilt them like this one. And then the top of the lid is darkened more and the eyelashes come over the pupil. And right here are some of my favorite eyes. There's a little droopy look. Again, the tear duct area is open, but she has these beautiful droopy eyes that I love. On this one, I think I am going to follow the example right here and have a closed eye with the tear ducts. So what I do is I'm going to start on one side, and the first eye is really, really easy. You're just drawing it. And now you have to match the other side to this eye, basically. So usually this length right here should be the length in the middle, but for this one right here, you can see this is much larger. The gap is much larger than the size of this eye. You can actually get 3 eyes and put it across if you want to line it up that way, but I wanted her eyes to be further out, so that is a style preference that I'm using right now. So I'm going to try to do this side, and the second side is always the hardest because you're trying to match the other side. So I think about right here. And the eyes I always readjust, so you need to be sketching lightly so that you can make your readjustments without having marks. But do you see this space right here and this space right here? As long as those are similar, you're good, and you can work on the shape of the eye. So throughout, I will be picking up my piece and looking at it in a standing up position, and you can see a lot more. You can see right now that this eye is actually larger than this eye. This part right here is raised more up here. So I will be doing an adjustment, but sometimes when I get the pupil and everything, I like it just the way it is. So for this one, I'm actually extending the lid out over here. It's just a stylized preference. You don't have to do that, but that's what I want to do on this. So I'm going to bring it down. First, I want to kind of square it a little bit. I just want these different kind of shape eyes. I'm going to bring it around like this. For the pupil, I'll start it this way, and then I'm going to go ahead and extend it like this. That's my extension, okay? So I'm going to copy what I just did on the other side. So what you do one side, you do the other. I'm going to kind of square it out. And I don't want them to be exactly the same. This is what makes your piece unique, your face unique. I'm going to bring it down. Don't be afraid to turn your piece around. So now the trick is getting this side to look like the other side. So I'm going to bring this down like the other one. I'm going to turn it and form that pupil. Tear duct, excuse me. And we'll take a look. Let's see. Not bad, not bad. Let's go ahead and extend this right here. And then I'll make my adjustments. And I'll add in, you can see that eye line is right here. So when I started the top of the eye, I did it right above the eye line, if you can see that mark. I'm going to go ahead and thicken this up right here, because you don't want to see the entire eyeball. When you look at a person's eye, you don't see the whole roundness of the eye. You only see part of it. So I'm going to bring it down like this. And that's actually a lot of the eyeball right there. Sometimes people will float it up here and you'll see the bottom of it. And I have some of my pieces like that. One of the eyes I showed you was like that. So there are my eyes to begin with. And I'll keep tweaking them until I like them. But I'm liking the impression it's giving me so far. And to do the little inner part of the eye, do like a little, I'm gonna do a little half moon. And color that in. You do the same thing over here. So make sure directionally you're doing the same thing to the other eye. I wouldn't want to face this the other way. That's when you get weird looking eyes. And then I'll go through actually and erase these lines right here. And then I'll do that when I'm off camera, but right now, on this one, I'm going to go ahead and make the same marks, but sometimes I just do it differently. Here, I'll do one eye a little bit differently. I'll do this one with a line like this, because our eyes are independent of each other and have their own personalities. I'll do a line over here like that, so they have different lines. And I'll be tweaking that as well. So that one's a little further down. Maybe I'll add a little another piece on this one, and I'll leave the other one. I'm gonna do a little piece up here. I think I like that. So then this is not the eyebrow, okay? This is part of the eyelid, so you're implying the eyelid right there. And then I would go ahead and add the eyebrow above that. And you can decide the shape and if you want it thin or thick and all that. I'm just putting them in right now to see where they fit. So that's where the eyebrows go. There we have our eyes. And a lot of times I don't do eyelashes. I don't know why, it's personal preference. Some people like big swooping eyelashes and they love to do those. A lot of my art pieces don't have eyelashes, so I don't think I'm going to put any in today. Next we are going to work on the nose. I start right here in the center and I just do a little half circle right there, right? And we don't actually need this line, but I'm using it as a guideline, so that will be erased later. And then I add in the nostrils right here. I'm going to connect that. And then I want to add shadowing for the nostrils. So I start with a line right here on either side, almost like a little parentheses. So you can determine the size of your nose by doing this process right here. She has sort of a small nose. Okay, we have our big, beautiful eyes, and our nose is situated there. So when you do the shadowing for the nose, it's actually going to come down from the eyebrows, and I'm just going to put a little bit in there so you can see. You don't actually draw in the bridge of the nose, you do shadowing. So you can kind of see them implied shadowing right there. And when I go back and then paint it, I'll make it more pronounced. So the lips start right here, right underneath the nose. You want to do a Cupid's bow. And then the lips are actually going to be like the shape of like a mustache almost, or a flying bird. And you can do them as big or as little as you want. We're having a little nose and a little lips right here. Underneath this little part right here, I'm going to make another little half circle like we did the nose above. And then I'm going to connect the two. I think I want her smiling. So I'm going to make a little smile line here. And then I want to connect this right here. And there's tons of different ways to make lips too. Just one of the ways. And I'm going to give her a little, kind of a smirk, a little smile. And then the bottom lip, you can totally connect it and make it the same size. I like to just do a mark like this, another little half circle. And then I'll go back in with paint and add some detail to that. You can add ridges. Generally, the top lip is darker than the bottom, so that shading, when you do that later with the paint, it'll be a nice effect. But this is basically the face layout. I think it turned out really, really, really well. As per my map of it beforehand, my sketch beforehand, oh look, you can see the squirrel through her hair on the other side. I just need to add the ears and looks like freckles, but the freckles I won't add in the preliminary sketch of this one because when I paint it, they're just going to disappear. So I'm not going to worry about that. I can add in the ears and the neck. When you're doing realistic necks, it's usually from the point of where the ears are, but that would give her a really, really thick neck. And this is mixed media, and this is playful and whimsical, so I can do the neck how I want it. So I think I'm going to start about right here for the neck. Bring it down. And then I want some shoulders because I'm going to have that little squirrel sit on it, and I'm still adjusting. I want it to go up a little bit more. That side, and then I'll do the same on the other side. It's a little difficult holding the phone, so I'll have that done. So we have our neck drawn in. Also, I kept with the V-neck of the shirt, and I'll go ahead and decorate that a little bit later. But I wanted to discuss something that I normally do not put on my faces anymore, but for this lesson, I went ahead and put it there so that you can see spatially. Right here where I put the arch right here for the head, I normally don't even draw this in anymore. I stop about right here because this actually is a part where you put hair. Do you see this right here? You end up erasing it because you don't want to see the head going around like this. A lot of people make a mistake and start the hair right here. This is on your face, right above your eyebrows. If you touch on your own face, your hair doesn't start there. It's all the way at the top of your head. So there's more space there than what you think. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this and then add the hair. The top part of the head is erased now. Let's go ahead and set in that hair. So here is our model right here. I can put it somewhere where I can see it close. Here a little bit. Okay. So when I want to add the hair in here, I just want to do it at an angle, about right here. So the shape of it is here. And then I have another piece that's going to go here. Then I want to kind of swoop her hair out a little bit. So you can see I'm doing these sketching motions. And then I come in, and remember this is the top of the head, so it's a little bit higher than what you probably think. And I go down and connect it. And then I'll go back in and add these extra strands and stuff like that. So when I meet the hair part right here, and add that part in. And then I have some wispies going down this way, and some wispies, kind of make a mark right there, going down this way. And I want to add in some elf ears, not realistic, but super, super cute. And this is the motion I want to do. The trick again is getting it to look somewhat similar on each side. So the first side is always the easiest. Super cute elf ear, right? So I have to do that on the other side too. So I'll just turn it, and it's super hard because I'm holding a phone right now. Let's see. How about that? Almost there. It's still a little too small. Do you see that? So I'll have to adjust that probably off camera so I'm not holding a phone. What ears are worked in? You can see right here, I made a little ridge, just a stylized preference right here. And these are the ear holes. I also added some hair pieces and some little flyaways too to make it have a little bit more depth. We can hold her back a little bit. Let's see what she looks like. She's looking good. You can see right in the corner down here, I started the squirrel. So we're gonna make an outline of the squirrel first, kind of like its skeleton. So it's gonna start with a circle, and the head is nothing more than a little kind of like almond or tear duct shape. So I'm turning it kind of sideways, and to get that perfect shape, I'm just offsetting it from the diagonal of the circle. I'm going to do a little half circle like this, and then I'll bring it down into that kind of tear duct, maybe egg shape, almond shape. And then I can turn it back around this way. And so the circle is right here and it's offset to the corner. And then I want to do the neck, slight dip, connect it. And I'll go into the leg. Round motion down to the bottom of the big circle. And then I want to bring out the foot. So I'm not going to worry about the foot shape yet. We kind of want this little number right there. Going into the tail, you start inside the circle. Bring it around like a big S. And again, turn the box to have it work for you. And a big bushy tail. So you want that kind of like a crescent moon shape. And you bring it all the way back down to the base right here. So you can kind of get it started. Kind of want this to come out a little bit more like that. And then take it down like
So then I'll go in and add the closest ear first. And then the ear that's furthest away. See, this started on the inside of the circle or the oval. I'm going to start this one right on the line on the outside because that's supposed to be behind. So it kind of looks like that. The eye is also an almond shape. They have nice big eyes. And I'll leave a little circle on the inside for the glimmer. And I'll go ahead and shade in the rest. Really want to play up that eye right there. So then I want to come down. I want to add the arm. I'm going to just bring it all the way down here. Start adding the little digits. This is going to go all the way to the little tummy area. I'm going to get rid of some lines here. This is one of them I want to get rid of. I want to keep this one right here, and I want to keep this one right here because that's going to be part of the tail, but I want to get rid of this one. Let's go ahead and complete the other side. Add another arm. You can be holding something later. And go in with the nose, right on the line. A little nose, and then a little mouth. Just follow the line, bring it in. Looks kind of crazy right now, but we'll be adding fur and actually another foot. So the second foot is going to come out over here. First I'm going to fix this foot. Here's a toe, and here's another toe. And we'll add a little claw and a claw. And then here's the other foot. Just bring it around like this. It doesn't extend as far because it's behind. You can add claws or no claws. I might erase those claws. I'll see how I feel about them later. And then I'm going to be adding the fur. Some just little spaces. Right here behind the neck. The ear, I'll probably get rid of this line right in here. Let's see. I can redraw that back in there. And I'm going to add a ridge for the ear like we did on the girl. Some darkness in here. Some little tufts of fur right there. Right there. Some around the leg. And I don't have to do all this right now. I'm just showing you how the fur goes. We did this on another video when we did little tea bags. We did the squirrels. Some little fur right here. Maybe some under here. And the tail is what's really going to give it some features of the squirrel. So I'm just going to fix the tail a little bit. Bring it in. And you want to start right at the bottom with little wisps like this. And you're going to follow the direction of the tail. When you get right here, it's longer pieces like this. And you're just following the tail all the way around. It looks crazy right now, but you're going to go and fill it in. You get here, kind of changes directions this way. And this is also part of the long fur right here. And I'm going to keep going around. And I'm going to build it up. Keep doing this until it looks as bushy as I want it to look. Some pieces are longer, some pieces are shorter. Pieces are crazy. I'm going to fill it all the way in until it looks like this. Even the inside right here, you're going the direction of the tail like this. Okay. Look, we've got our squirrel in. Isn't he cute? So he's holding the card. It's going to say Izzy, just like this one. I didn't write it on there yet, so I'll just do that with a skinny Sharpie later. And he's missing a hat for right now. I'm not sure if I want a hat on there, but he looks super cute. I really like the way that's turning out. So I'm actually using a color called, let's see, peach.
I do have one that's called Flesh, and I have one that's Mocha. I think the peach suits Izzy the best, so that's what I'm going to use. I squirted some right there, just a little dollop. I have my water right here. I already dipped my brush in there. This is a round tip brush, and sometimes people like to ask. It is Round by Plaid. It's a number 8. But whatever brush you're comfortable with, sometimes I use a angled brush, but I wanted to use the round tip brush because I wanted this little pointy part to go around the eye, but you can do that with a flat tip brush as well, or excuse me, an angle brush as well. So I'll show you this. Be patient with me since I'm holding this, dipping it in there. And you want to make sure that you're just going one direction. I'm going to fill in the whole face. Now when I change direction like this, I just want to make sure everything is cohesive and it looks like it's going in the same direction. So I just go back over it like that. And you still want to spread that out. I have a lot on my brush. It's loaded, it's fully loaded. And since the brush is a little bit wet, it's spreading out more. And you can see why you might need another coat when it leaves marks, but I'm going through it over and over again and just spreading it out. Keep in mind that pencil is also water soluble. So if your pencil starts moving around, your pencil marking, I mean on your paper, don't freak out. Well, that's her neck. We can go down. And I'm actually painting over the lips. That's okay. You can see the pencil kind of moved on that, but I'm not bothered by that. I can fix that later. And I can go right over this flesh color with the lip color, so that's fine by me. So I am going to fill this all in, and because the texture of the box, you kind of can see that it has like ridges in it. I don't want that to deter you. Just keep going. Fill it in, and you may need to just do another coat. Don't glob on the paint. Sometimes people, especially younger artists or new artists, will tend to glob on the paint to make it thicker. Don't do that. Just let it dry and add another coat. Be patient, okay? And I do go right over the eyebrows and the lids. I will not go over my eyes though. I think I can manage to go around those. That's why I have this nice tip. And I'll come back when it's all filled in. So the first coat is put on of the peach color, and you can see how it looks. It's kind of striated and streaked. Don't worry, we will add another coat until that is all gone. Sometimes takes 3 coats. So you never know when you're using substrates like a cereal box. So it has a little bit of ridging to it. So while I was waiting for the face to dry, I actually went in with a Sharpie, just a normal Sharpie, and I went around the eyes. So you need to be careful when you're working with Sharpie and paint. You will wreck your Sharpie if it touches paint. So you can see off to the side right here, you see all these little marks right here? If your Sharpie starts acting funny, you know it's a good Sharpie, start doing this right away on a separate sheet of paper and activating it again, or you will lose your Sharpie. I lose a lot of Sharpies this way. So I did this eye, and you can see on the pupil right here, I went ahead and traced that. And then on this pupil, I want to show you, I thickened it up. So I will go back in and thicken this up because I like to do these little white dots in there like she has stars in her eyes. So I'll go back to do that so I can add those. And also I'll probably thicken up all these lines right here when I'm done painting, when the face is done. And I didn't trace these yet or go over these yet because I'm going to be painting, and again for the eyebrows and the nose and even the lips that I will be going over. So everything will be actually outlined in Sharpie. The face, the ears, the neck, her shirt, the squirrel, the card, and even her hair will have streaks in there with the Sharpie just because it stands out and it pops. But I keep going back in there and adding and adding and adding. So I want to show you how to do the eyes. Her eyes are brown, but I want to give them a little pop, and this is Fantasy World. Generally, when you want really beautiful swirly eyes, you start with a dark color at the top, and I'm going to show you a little cheat way, a little quick way. I have a whole mess of Sharpies right here and permanent markers. And instead of using paint in there, you can use paint. I'm just too lazy right now to go get it. All I had out was my peach paint right here. You can come in and you start with the dark part up here first.
I'm going to split it in half. I'm going to add the brown. And like I said, she has beautiful brown eyes naturally. And don't worry, it looks kind of odd right now because we haven't added any glimmer. I have a special Posca pen that I do that with. It's basically a white paint pen. And then I'm going to add the lighter color on the bottom. So you see how you're splitting that up? And like I said, you can do that with paint too. We're just giving it a swirly effect. I want to see what it looks like if I add brown over it. Does that cover it up? It does. That's okay, I'm just playing and checking it out. Swirl it back in, see? Not a big deal. So the green is actually acting as a highlight. So I'm going to come back in with the Posca pen and show you what I mean about the other highlights. So here's the Posca pen results. Pick it up, you can see it better. It's really pretty and starry-eyed. I did part of that one, but I didn't add the little dots in there. Let me show you what the Posca pen looks like. I ordered them off of Amazon. It says Posca, and I like this in white, and it comes in, I think I have a silver one, a gold one, and black as well, but I prefer to use a black Sharpie instead of a black Posca because I do smear. It's just paint in here, acrylic paint. I wanted to show you what it looks like. There are thick ones like this, even thicker ones than this, and really skinny ones. And you just activate it like a regular paint pen. You shake it up, you can hear it. I'm going to go in here and add some of the little features here. I want to show you something. Oops, look, I blobbed it. What happens if you blob it? What can you do if you have too much paint, this white paint, concentrated in one area? I did that on purpose. And make sure it's dry. Come in with your Sharpie and you can fix it right up. So if I wanted to separate like this area right here, I would just draw a little line in between, and there you go. And you can darken things up. You can make this appear skinnier by going across it like that. It's all fixable. So I'll keep working her eyes. I probably will take my pencil and I'll add a little bit more, like where there's gray right here, a little bit more in there. I'll put a little bit of pink in there for the tear duct, and I'll thicken up these lines, and then I'll go back in and add another coat to the face. Okay, look how we're shaping up. She's coming out so well. Look at the eyes. I went over those again, and as you can see, I added the pink for the tear duct, and I went ahead and took the Posca pen again, the white Posca pen that we used earlier, and I added the little tiny dots in there just to give it some glimmer. Our eyebrows are filled in, our hair is outlined, the ears are outlined, the lips are done. Notice I have that little mark down here for the bottom lip, but I took the color all the way up. I actually used Sharpie for the lips too. I did an orange on the top, and then I did a pink on the bottom, and I went ahead and brought the orange down into the bottom to kind of blend it and have some color variation right there. I got the squirrel outlined and the car outlined. I need to put her name on the card. I need to outline the shirt and decide if I want a design on there. And I need to paint her hair. So here's a neat little trick for the cheeks. I'm actually going to take the lip colors, the orange and the pink. I'm going to add them to the cheek area. Don't be scared right here. I know that looks crazy. I'll go the other way. I'm going to smear it around with my finger. And I can actually wet a paper towel a little bit and further fade it that way. I kind of like the brightness of it all. Makes it look cheery. And keep swiping. And then I'll probably go back and just take some of that flesh color and put it right there since that mark didn't smear so well. And do the same thing on the other side. I've even left it like that before, believe it or not. Get it all smeary. And I'll go back in with some flesh tone, and it's kind of a, sorry, I'm opening the paint. It's kind of a process that I do, going back and forth of adding this color back in, the cheek colors back in. And I just do it until I like it. But you can see it. Be a nice effect here. Just warms up the portrait. Let's see how we like that. She looks warmed up and pretty. If you end up wanting more of the bright cheek color, you actually can go back once it's dry. Make sure that your paint is dry. Make sure you're picking it up and looking at it every so often. I see a little paint discrepancy there. And I need to add her freckles. Yay, Izzy. So a little squirrel told me that Izzy's favorite color is blue. Here's a little squirrel. So I have some blues right here. This one is called, let's see, the first one right here is called Caribbean. That's just a dark blue and a robin's egg. And that's actually going to be her hair color. In real life, her hair color is a beautiful brown, but in fantasy land, we're going to make it blue. So I have my brush here. I'm dip it in some water. Tap it. And I'll start with, actually, I'm going to start with a little bit of the dark color right in here, the part. I'm just going to start it like that. Now I'm going to go into my lighter color. I'm not even going to clean my brush. I'm going to start fanning it out. I think that's going to look really good. Again in the light. Just fanning it out. A little bit more water. Light blue, panning it out. I think I'll add a little bit of this Caribbean, see what that does. It's kind of like the color we just made. So since that's similar to the color we just made, I'll go ahead and fan this out a little bit more. I'll add more of that dark blue to give it some variation. So back in here, just the very tip, not very much at all, because that's going to spread out a lot. And I want to come in here to the side of her head where the hair might be darker. Just kind of incorporate it in the hair. And lucky, you just take your finger and wipe it off the eyebrow. I'm learning a whole new skill set, painting while holding a phone. I kind of want to get in there a little bit more, but I want it to blend in. Let's get that lighter color again, some highlights. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, some more water. And I'm not dipping it in there to clean it, I'm dipping it in there to get the paint moving. We are still painting on cardboard, even though it's gessoed. It can get kind of a sticky feeling, so I want it to move. Some of that darker color. Add it right in here. Don't worry, and it's concentrated there, but I'm going to fan it in and out. Blend it. Be a better term for that. And let's see if we can get a little bit up here. I don't want that much paint on there, so I'm gonna just a little highlight there. I'm gonna add a little bit more of the dark blue. And right there in the center like I did at the beginning. I want to see that. Just keep blending until you like it. That's my motto. Just blend till you like it. This is not supposed to be stressful. It's supposed to be fun. Nobody's perfect here. You're just doing what feels right or what you like. So I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to give her a look. She is looking so cute. So I will turn off the camera and I will work on her hair some more until I like it. And I get to add her freckles. I'm so excited. Miss Izzy Elf's hair situated. She looks fabulous. It still needs to dry. I really like the way it came out. And I did use all 3 colors, even though at first I thought, oh, the Caribbean looks just like the one that we mixed. Actually, it's 3 tones, and I'm glad I did that. You can actually see it. Sorry, I have the sunlight coming in. You can see that it's multifaceted, because when you go out in the sun, you see different colors in your hair. And she just happens to have pretty blue hair. So let's add some freckles. I'm so excited. I don't want to ruin it, though, so I'm going to test it out. I have a brown Sharpie right here. Well, I say Sharpie. It's just a permanent marker. It's the dollar store probably brand, but let's see. That's too thick, so I want to use right at the tip, I think. Yeah, right at the tip. Okay, so here goes. I'm going to try to pay attention to the painting itself and not the camera. So if I go off camera, I'm sorry, but I don't want to mess up on her freckles. You could fix it with gesso, but I don't want to go that route. Adorable. I think I'm just going to keep it on the cheek. She probably has them on her nose too, but I think that's so cute. I love it. So you may have noticed some highlights on here. I went through with my Posca pen and I used it for highlights, not in just the eyes, but also on the lips. You can see it's highlighted right there. And the nose is looking a little bit crazy. I like to do little white highlights on the nose. Sorry, I'm opening a Sharpie with my mouth. But it's kind of thick, but I didn't fret right there. I'm just gonna go back over with the black just so you can see it on the edges. Again, I'm gonna pay attention to the picture and not so much to my camera. I'm gonna keep working that in because the Sharpie is temperamental. I have to keep activating it over here. It doesn't like to go on top of paint. I'll keep working on that and get the shape of that just perfect. And they're perfect in my world. She looks amazing. I love it. So I'm just gonna paint the squirrel, write her name on there, fix up the shirt. I'll probably paint the background too. Here's our little squirrel, and I think he came out a little too dark. I just did it with a brown Sharpie and then did the Posca pen for the eyes. I went over with some highlighter, the peach that I used on the skin, and I'm still not feeling it, so don't fret, just keep going. I went and grabbed these 2 colors, and I'm going to marry them, blend them, and kind of make his fur more of a reddish color. That is, I believe, a burnt sienna. Let's see what it's called. It's called red oxide right here. Red oxide, and then let's see what this umber color is. Looking at it, I don't see a name on it, but it looks like a burnt umber. It looks like this. And I'm gonna see if I can zhuzh it up. I also have a gold paint marker, and I might do something with that. Don't be afraid to try to fix things that you don't like. Experiment. This is not going to go into the Louvre. It is going to be a birthday present, and I know I can fix it.
if all else fails, I can always blot it out with gesso and just start again. So don't be afraid to try to experiment and try new things. Okay, the little guys are already starting to look better to me. You can't tell probably because it's wet, but it's considerably lighter now. I'll go back in. I actually really like the color variation that's in there. Kind of like her hair, how we use 3 colors. Well, now he's got 1, 2, 3. He's got 4 colors. I'll go back in and go over his eye with a Sharpie, and I'll kind of finite him by tracing him out again in the Sharpie and, you know, make his nose more prominent and stuff like that. But he looks really, really good, and I'm glad I experimented with that. And I still might even add little gold flecks in there. We'll see. Sure. And don't be afraid, just because I use blue in her hair, it doesn't mean that I can't use blue anywhere else. I'm actually going to paint her shirt a dark blue because she really likes blue. And I'm going to use a lighter color, that robin's egg, on the background. Even though her hair has those colors in it, it's actually going to make the picture come together, and it's going to make her pop. So let's get started on her shirt. We'll get some of that darker blue. Let's see it. There you go. Get nice and simple. And I think I'm going to put a little spray over it. I have some little sprays in a bottle that sometimes have little metallic effects when they dry. I think that's what I'll do on top of her shirt for the design portion. Pour that blue. And the squirrel ended up with some gold pieces on him. You can add whatever you want to your paintings. Don't be afraid. Try something new. It's the thought that counts, right? We'll go one direction. The shirt is painted in, and I'm painting the background. I'm getting it really watery and using that light color and going on the background here. Now I don't want you to fret. If you're going over the background and you're going with your brush and you're here and whoops, we went over the line. Don't freak out. Just take your finger and pull back. When it's wet, it's workable. It's not a mistake, it's a happy accident, okay? This should be fun. This should be something that you enjoy. I can be one of those fine art people and really get out a realistic picture. I've done that before, but this is fun for me. I prefer this. There's nothing wrong with fine art. I prefer mixed media because it's a little bit messy and I can get right into it, and it's just a happy, fun thing for me. So that's what it should be for you. Find what works for you and do that. Whatever makes you happy, do that. So again, if you get it into the lines like that, hands on there, and there you go. Or you can use a paper towel. It's that simple. She is with the spray on her. You can see right there the green, kind of iridescent. That's what it's supposed to look like when it dries. I'm trying to get out of the house and give Miss Izzy her gift. She's gonna have a parade, and as soon as I can get this dry and fill it up with goodies, we can head out the door. The spray. It's by Tattered Angels. It's called Glimmer Mist. If you look in the bottle, you can kind of see at the bottom the iridescent color, and they come in all different colors. And look at my hands, it's ink, so I'll be like this for a while. She is complete. The spray dried. You see some of the little iridescent gold and blues in here. She looks great. I just painted the sides, so I'm trying not to grab it. But I just did the sides in the blue, and I'm actually going to leave the back blank. I thought about putting more art on the back, but if she wants to put a little wall mount right here and hang it on her wall, then she will be covering up art. So she is good. Izzy the elf with her little pet squirrel. She can name him with the little Izzy card. Came out so cute. Hope she likes it. We're gonna fill it up with birthday gifts now, some art supplies.